morning, everybody. It's nice to see you on a beautiful Monday morning. It's 11:30 on Monday, and it's great to see everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend. It's been kind of a rough weekend. We are all, maybe quite a few of us, are still in shock from the death of Ruth Bader Ginsberg this weekend, which seems to be a shock to people. But also there's all this remembrance about her and how important she was, important cultural icon in today's world for women's rights and for having such a staunch position on the Supreme Court for so many years. So just as a way to kind of pay respect to her, and she had so many important decisions and important dissents during her time as Supreme Court Justice. It's all just important that it goes into the conversation and that we just remember that. I learned quite a few things from Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and we all have, but some of the things I think really apply to our business. And I wanted to talk about those things today, about how maintaining these principles and holding to your principles in the face of a changing environment is something that's critical for all businesses to do, to not only maintain our business culture through these changes, but to ensure that we have a path forward when this economic crisis is done and that we're prepared for growth. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. But the first point that I wanted to chat about was how dissent is so important in today's leadership. And we see that time and time again in the Supreme Court, where there's differing decisions and we have these polar opposites that have their either yes or no, you're either conservative or you're liberal, and those polar opposites happen. But the important thing that happens in these conversations is that there is dissent and that there is conversation. So conflict is not something that's a negative thing. And conflict can be negative, but when a conflict is productive and it's constructive and it helps move your business forward, it's something that helps progress your business and helps move your business out of the one way that you thought was going to be critical and important for your business. The path of entrepreneurship is challenging because you have to consistently adjust to not only the economic shifts that are happening, but the changing in consumer behavior and all of these different ideas on the outside that are affecting our business. It's extremely important to have this dissent or to have these conversations and to pivot and adapt your business approaches to something that's going to work in today's environment. And I think that's a really important principle that we learned from Ruth Bader Ginsburg about how critical dissent is, even in the face of a culture that isn't ready to accept these newer ideas. Critical to have dissent and critical to have those conversations. I think dissent is key. I think that conflict is a part of growing, and you can have constructive conflict that does help your business. And the most important thing from that conflict, or the most important thing from that pivot and dissent and shifting things around, is that you as a business are prepared for meeting the new needs of the customer and to also growing after this economic crisis or economic trauma is over. So dissent is important, and I want to pay respect to RBG this weekend because she was so powerful in her dissent. The other idea that I wanted to talk about for business tips for Business Tip Monday, how important it is, and this is also something that we learned from Ruth Bader Ginsburg, how important it is to stick to our principles through this time of economic crisis. I read this great article on the Harvard Business Review that talked about how businesses of all sizes should manage their own input right now and manage what's happening in their business right now, because we are in a crisis, because we're all experiencing some sort of trauma. Some businesses are experiencing an influx, like the real estate industry, the mortgage industry, that's doing quite well right now. But other industries are experiencing the lack of customers and the want to bring more people in. However, during this time, the Harvard Business Review stated this really well about how now it's really important for businesses to be a camel rather than a unicorn. And I love this euphemism because a camel is going to dig into it, what it needs, dig into those core principles, those core things that it needs during the time of drought. So when we're ready to withstand these economic changes, then we have those things in reserve. So whether that's cutting your business costs, or whether that's digging into your principles, or re-envisioning what your systems look like in your operations to help streamline things and make it more productive, whether it's that, or whether it's getting into those core mission, vision, core values to make sure that your employees are all on the same page, it's all digging into those long-term solutions that are really critical during this time of change and during this time of crisis for businesses. You'd rather be a camel than a unicorn right now. The unicorn representing the rapid growth that's happening. There's not a lot of businesses that are having this rapid growth right now. So as small businesses, it's important to really stick to our principles and make sure that we are moving forward, or make sure that our business is ready to really move forward when the economy picks up again. So remembering a few things, sticking with those principles is really critical too, because not only do we make sure that the principles in our business are sound, but that we are ready for that growth, because we know that the economy goes up and down all the time. We know that people are not spending a lot of money right now, but when we get out of this economic crisis, people will be spending money again. And those businesses that are prepared for growth at that time are going to reap the benefits of that growth. Just look what happened in the 2008 crisis. The many things were invented after the 2008 economic crash. During that time, some of the biggest industries that we know today, like Airbnb, was founded during that economic crash. Slack, which many of us use for money and small businesses, all of these things were invented in that time of crisis. And now is really the time to dig in, be innovative, and help move forward. So let's remember RBG in this discussion this weekend. Huge loss for the United States, huge loss for the Supreme Court. She will be missed. She set a tremendous precedent and was an icon that was looked on by many people, women and men alike. Respectable human being that I hope my daughter knows someday and remembers someday. But we learn a few important concepts from her. That dissent is a good thing, and that conflict is a good thing, and that we can be constructive in how we manage our conflict rather than destructive in how we manage our conflict, because conflict helps us move forward. And we've all experienced a lot of conflict right now because we've had all of these shifts and these adaptations that need to be made, but this dissent and this conflict and this constructive growth is going to help us move forward. The second thing is that we have to stick with our principles. And sticking with our principles means a few things. It means not only digging in to who we are as a business, but it's also digging in to those principles of how we connect with people, how we want to manage that interaction with our future customers and our current customers, and making sure those principles are strong. Dissent and principles. A few great lessons from RBG that we can apply in our own business. So this happens every Monday. Just get online and give a few tips. I would love for you to schedule a strategy session. If you want to talk about my culture program, or you want to talk about the Thriving Entrepreneur program, I am in business to help your business be better. Also, follow my YouTube channel, and I have a new podcast channel, which I'm really excited about. And it's a place where you can go to listen to the business tips, because we all want to be better businesses at this point in time. We're all dealing with these challenges right now. So let's do it together. So I hope to talk to you soon, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks. Bye-bye.